We are here today to announce that the Justice Department has secured felony guilty pleas from the world's largest cryptocurrency exchange, Binance.
Actually, it's Binance.
Binance.
Binance. Largest virtual.
Binance.
Binance. And let me be clear. It's Binance.
Binance.
Binance. Council has discussed crypto regulations and legislations at length, and we have come to the conclusion that instead of regulating, we are going to ape a fat bag each into laptop and pump it to over $1,300,000,000,000,000,000,000,000 market cap. Let's fucking go, crackheads.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Crypto Morning Coffee. I got my coffee locked and loaded, ready to go, because we have to talk about three things that could go wrong at this point for crypto, and that at least could send it lower into the 80s or into the low 80s one more time. And we are going to discuss each and every one of them, and then there's one factor that could be bullish or bearish depending on how it turns out, kicking in 1 week. We're also going to address that, and we're going to look at the overall market, the altcoins a little bit, so make sure to stay tuned all the way through. So, good morning to each and every one of you. May I ask you, first things first, smash up the like button right now to a new all-time high, of course, here. And it's not because Patrick Bultman just said, GM, I don't like this title. It's not to scare everyone. It's just, I think the market could be taking another round of going lower and shaking out people, and it would be almost unbearable for most because they think it's never going to happen and we're never going to go higher, and this one more round is necessary to bring the market there to the sentiment. And we remember that from the last time that we had such a long consolidation, that it was also unbearable, and then this larger drop that then did not result in a new low. It just went down once again, right? And I think this could be happening once more. But let's see first here who is in the house. A lot of people in the house, so make sure to smash up the like button if you're coming in right now. Trucking Hank, good morning to you, my most trusted soldier here. Every day he is here, every live stream he is here. Sorry for not being streaming every day, but at the moment from my personal life or my let's say my job life, not possible. Jasper Frank, hi. Also, good morning, Mr. Traveler. Yeah, I'm going to Belgium today, actually. So this I just wanted to get this live stream done and talk to you guys before. One of these trips, you could travel to the future and tell us what's the story. Yeah, so we have Belgium, not future right now. But we'll do our best to look into the future and get the best out of it. So let's jump right in without further hindering. So one thing that is, first of all, that's the positive side, right? So we have ourselves the bounce that we were speculating on. This is the weekly chart, so we are in the third green week. This week has reached 88,000 US dollar, but there's something that I don't like about it. It's not even in these three factors, and that is this bounce does not come with a lot of volume, right? And today we get some other metrics: spending month over month, durable goods month over month from the US. But this bounce, it is happening. However, we could also anticipate something like this, right? Sell off all the way down into 79,000 or so, forming a higher low, a double bottom, whatever. Everything is possible. Of course, also going just higher here is also possible, right? Let's just talk about possibilities. Hey Green Lantern, what's going on? Good to see you as well. GMPH and Hodler Army. Yeah, if you want to become a rare hodler, part of the Hodler Army, and get into the Telegram group, then also you can. There's only one tier to subscribe to. Consider it if you want to support my channel long term. Make sure to smash up the like button always to support this channel, right? Okay, so let's talk about the first thing that could send this down a little bit, and that is Mt. Gox. Mt. Gox has sent 11,500 Bitcoin, about $1 billion, of which 893 Bitcoin went to a hot wallet and 10,600 to a change wallet. So should we be worried, right? Question. So potential catalyst for volatility as investors brace for creditor repayments, short-term fluctuation, and so on. So again, I think this could lead to some more Bitcoin hitting the market, right? Here we see the 11,000 and so on. And by the way, like, look at this, like 11,500 Bitcoin sent through the Bitcoin network, fee $1.98. I mean, where do you get such a transaction amount, and without the like banks or someone asking you why are you sending this? Can you please give reasons here? Then you have to sign here and there, and then there was just one problem. No, we just send it through the network, but don't send it to the wrong address, right? Also, no one will get back for you. Watch out for selling pressure, because some people might cash out at these levels, as they were holding technically since a long time, and maybe not sure about the continuance about the bull market. So number one, Mt. Gox is potentially a selling point. Number two is global liquidity. Who would have thought? Yes, in the long run, we are expecting a big rise in global or because of the global M2 in Bitcoin, as we can see, is very highly correlated. Only some extreme volatility is not reflected in either one of them, right? But that is like short-term like breakouts or so. But we see we are very close, but if you look at this here, we see there is another turn back and a bottom formation before the big rise, right? So will we mimic that, or will we just go over it more sideways-ish? But in any case, it looks just as if we have a couple of weeks more sideways action, sideways, downward, whatever action, before we go on the big blast off, right? Because, I mean, this is here close to April, so it's very actual. However, this green dotted line would be right on April ending, right on the 1st of May or something like that, right? So that's when we expect the turn off, and maybe that's exactly what is going wrong this cycle, right? Maybe when we expect the sell in May go away, maybe everyone sold already in the markets right now, and they will not go away. Maybe everyone waits for this event, and then they're just, okay, now let's buy. Everyone buys, right? It's a possibility. Let's see how it turns out, but be aware. I think this is the most of the 3 points. This is the most impactful one for another sell-off and downturn. Okay, the next one is a maybe, but it could be contributing. Okay, so let's listen to this here. It's about the tariffs. So check this out.
Yeah, please.
The size of the investment, partly because of tariffs. On April 2nd, the reciprocal tariffs will go into effect. Is it truly reciprocal? Are there some countries that might get a break, or some sectors that might get a break?
Well, I may give a lot of countries breaks, but it's reciprocal, but we might be even nicer than that. You know, we've been very nice to a lot of countries for a long time, but I call it Liberation Day. April 2nd is Liberation Day. But today, as you know, we did something with respect to Venezuela. You heard about that, and that will be quite important. We'll be announcing some additional tariffs over the next few days. having to do with automobiles, cars, and having also to do a little bit with lumber down the road, lumber and chips. We're going to get all those chip companies coming back. They're already coming back without even doing it. So it's been very good. But we'll be announcing some others. But for the most part, April 2nd will be a big day. That'll be Reciprocal Day. And we'll be bringing some of the money back that's been taken from us. Let's be nice by using the word taken. I don't want to use a stronger word because these guys are professional politicians and they don't like to hear those words. I refuse to use the word stolen from us, but that's a...
And yet he said it. Okay, but so this could obviously send the market down also on April 2nd for more reciprocal tariffs. On the other hand, some people claim it's bullish because it's more targeted. It's some people or some countries, they get a break from the tariffs and so on. So again, I think it's a negotiation factor. But here you heard it yourself, so it could contribute, right? And yes, trucking, Hank, I will come to that. I completely forgot about this, to be honest, but let's discuss this in the stream. So this is a maybe. So we have two, but there's a third one, and the third one is more almost guaranteed one, and that is the CME gap, right? And it's not super deep from where we are, and we are already moving in this direction, but it's there. So there is because we have been pumping already on Sunday, there is a small CME gap open between 84,800 and 85,140. And to close that CME gap, we have to come to this 84,850 or so, down to that level to close it, right? And you remember when we had this big CME gap open, and I said even, hey, maybe I mean, so much pump, right? Are we really going to close this? I'm not sure, because in the last bull run we had left one open, but no, the price came back, closed 70% of the CME gap, came up, and then we were like, okay, maybe that's already closed, maybe that's already filled. No, it has to completely fill it, and then it comes back up, fills this CME gap, comes back up, opens a new CME gap, and now what now? Question mark, right? In my opinion, the likelihood, why I cannot fully explain why, but it always happens. I mean, you see it. It comes back, closes the gap, and immediately comes back down, right? It's super crazy. So I would say we definitely revisit at least the 84,000 to then go higher, right? Maybe like this, something like this. I don't know, right? Or even in the means of a weekend, open another CME gap somewhere up here or whatever, right? Something can happen, but this is an indicator. This is number 3 why we could go lower and even to 84 or lower prices. So to recap that very quickly, why Mt. Gox 11,000 Bitcoin moved, the CME gap open at 84,800 or so, and the third one, global M2, has this bump in it that we have just looked at, right? This one here, this downturn, it coincides, everything seems to be working together there, right? However, here's also the CME gap, right? What I had on the title. So here's another way of displaying the CME gap. About 84,000, I would also say, is that price target, right? Now, banana zone, right? And this ties into what Trucking Hank says here. So there are different opinions about the banana zone and the alt season. And one of the most, let's say, discussed ones is that there is not going to be an alt season, okay? And there was also, I think it was 1 week ago, there was a crypto cruise by George, and also George used this argument. George, cryptos are us. So it's a bigger, if for those who don't know him, it's a bigger channel from already many years in the market, mainly talking macro news, 2 live streams a day and stuff like that, right? So this guy, he is basically saying, George of the Jungle, no, cryptos are us, George. You know the guy, like George, we are all George. By the way, you can see in this example, you can see how powerful intros can be, right? I remember a couple of years back, he tried to get rid of the I am George, we are all George, and the audience didn't let him. Okay, so they literally didn't let him. He tried, and they were so furious and mad, so he has to say it on his stream every day. Anyways, going back to altcoin season. So first of all, we don't know if it plays out like this, but the chances are really, really good that this is actually how it is going to play out with everything that we see from global M2. Even our sideways move would be possible here, or our sideways corrective move would be possible in this example, right? And considering the sheer amount of money printing that is going to happen now and that's going to happen throughout this year, we could be in for a treat, right? Long term. Short term, I would say more to down, like in the next couple of days, weeks, but then going up. So why would there be no altcoin season? The argument that is being used is that there are so many coins, liquidity is spreading up between that many coins, and that the money that is being piled into Bitcoin and Ethereum is mainly institutional, and that the institutions are not going to take money off and pump it into altcoins. And somehow I see what these people mean by that, but on the other hand, it's just not true. Okay, so yes, a lot of people of the newer holders are institutions, but there are millions of people in the market that are in Ethereum, that are in Solana, that are in XRP, and that are in Bitcoin, that are ready to take profits and roll them into certain altcoins, right? And of course, all these garbage means from pump fund that are now creeping at the zero flat line, they will probably not get the revival stimulus, right? They will probably not get the revival impulse, the resurrection, right? But all these coins that have large communities and have nice use cases, talking about Near Protocol and Avalanche and VeChain and Chainlink and all these coins, like, but also the good coins in the smaller brackets like Metacade, like Devi and so on. We have seen that they have like Arweave, like all these AI plays, gaming plays, RWA plays, DeFi projects and so on. These will all get the treatment, in my opinion. And why? So first of all, we have a lot of whales that are sitting in coins that are not institutions, and also we have, with the institutions, gotten rich players into the market that are acting with their private capital, and they are completely free to do so. Secondly, in the US, we already have an opening for altcoins, like the SEC dropping all the lawsuits and investigations against these coin projects, so they are technically free to be integrated in ETFs, right? So I think what we will see now is ETFs for more ETFs, so like for Solana, for XRP, for Chainlink, for all these, and then top 5, top 10, top 100 ETFs. Okay, so that is how the institutional money also can get into altcoins, and how these asset managers can benefit from altcoin trading fees, so to say, or from altcoin ETF fees. And then all these players in the market that have pumped up bags already from Solana, from Ethereum and so on, of course they will shave off profits and see if they can make some money in the altcoin space. Like, people are degenerates, nothing has changed. If you have 100 million or 1 million or only $1,000, people are degenerates, they stay degenerate, and they will try to make the maximum out of it. And once they made their money, they will try to flex. And how do you flex in this space? With NFTs, with digital collectibles, and so on, right? So this will be then the last stage. But I think we first have to have the outrageous and degenerate returns. And I think the market cannot end when everyone agrees that it ends. And I think there cannot be a missing alt season if everyone agrees that there will be no alt season, right? So something is off here, in my opinion. Like, when have the masses ever been right? I think that what is going to happen is that all the countries that are still in quantitative tightening mode right now are really letting the money printers roll. They scale back the interest rates. They stimulate the economy because of the whole year. Like, everyone is like, oh, there's a recession coming. Guys, we are in a recession since years. Remember that when we had in the US 2 back-to-back quarters of negative GDP, and the Biden administration literally came out and said, well, that's not a recession, we are redefining the parameters what a recession is. So by the book of, if you say the parameters of recession are always the same, we have already seen the recession. We have been living in a recessive environment the last 3 years, and the economy is suffering. Unemployment is slowly going up right now. It's still fairly strong and so on, but the governments will be, the hand of them will be forced to do something. And you can see it in several countries already. You can see it in China, but you can already see it in Germany as well. 1.5 trillion euros basically being approved for infrastructure, climate, defense, yada yada. This is money that is hitting the market. Doesn't matter where you spend it, because let's say you spend $500 billion on defense. Well, what is defense going with that? They are going to buy the parts to build. They are going to invest in what's called real estate, right? So to build factory lines, to they're going to employ additional people. They're going to buy steel, right? The third party manufacturing and so on, they are buying the steel. Then steel production goes up, buys energy all the time, right? So the energy companies, they make more revenue, they employ new people, they give salary raises. So it doesn't matter where you spend the money, it just takes some time, and it is going to go to the market, to everyone, right? Doesn't matter if you put it in infrastructure or in whatever climate project or in defense, it will hit the market. Yeah. Okay. So that is my take on this, and so I think that stimulus is going to hit the market big time. Yeah. And then with the stimulus, we are going to see this, right? This rise, this banana rise, and the question is when, right? The question is really when, but until something being off in the cycle, we still have until the end of the year. Okay, and until then, I will say, okay, every time is slightly different, but it rhymes. And so far, if you see the rest of this body of the cycle, so far it did rhyme. Okay, so far it did. But you see, it always looks different, right? Always looks a little bit different. Question is, will this rise up be different or not, right? I don't think so. So why is it so difficult to convince your family and friends of buying Bitcoin? Here is why. Bitcoin is everything people don't know about computers, combined with everything they don't understand about money. Okay, and this is unfortunately the reality, and this is also why so many people are not in this, nor are they invested in or are building something in the real world, because they either don't understand one of the parts or they don't understand both of the parts, right? And Bitcoin is one of the very rare examples where both come together, right? The other example is every IT entrepreneur company, right? So someone who does coding and understands the market, how to sell it, and then makes big money with it, right? This is the other part where this comes together, like all the internet money companies, basically. So the question is, how much do they really have to understand when the market really pulls? Because at some point, as with all innovation, you're simply forced to deal with it. AI is like that, will be like that, but look into your environment. How many people are using ChatGPT to make their life easier? How many people are using any other form of AI application to make their life easier? Or are they being left behind right now? So I can give you some examples how AI is or ChatGPT and these things are benefiting me, right? So, for example, doing text declaration, right? There are so many complicated fields where you don't know that you could actually put something in, or what exactly you have to put in. Well, you can ask ChatGPT basically, and they'll give you examples what you could get in. You can get ideas. So use it as a unpaid secretary or assistant that can give you ideas, but that can be wrong, right? So for this is something. Whatever you're doing, you basically can open this up and ask on the side. Like you're looking for an app, you can ask it to give you a list of 10 free apps to do this and that. For example, I was looking for an app that helps with meditation, right? Okay, so first thing I asked my assistant, hey, give me a list of 10 apps, of free ones, which are the best ones for reducing stress, right? So there are different reasons why you would meditate, right? Improving sleep and stress reduction, or you have some irrational fears or something like that, right? So it can help you to narrow down these things and save you hours of research. Then you still have to look into if it's good or not, right? But yeah. So that is that. I think that was something that I wanted to share with you guys that I was thinking about when looking at this quote here about Bitcoin, right? So if you my rare hodlers and my frequent audience here, if you are not using any AI, ChatGPT or so, it's time, because it's the same as my grandparents not using touch screens, and then suddenly they can't get anything from the bank anymore. That being only one part of my grandparents. But still, you see how people are in different phases. They just stop to go with the next innovation stage, right? And AI is only one example. Crypto is another one, like crypto, DeFi, whatever. Like playing with these things whenever you have time, it could make the difference. It could even give you an idea where you where you find something where you want to build a business around or so, right? You don't know. You never know when. If you did, or if somehow, then please let me know. I would be very happy if this if this was valuable to anyone, right? Okay, so let's talk about quickly. Let's remind ourselves why we're in Bitcoin and in crypto in general. So this is the official inflation versus the money debasement that is happening, and you can really see how the consumer price inflation and the real monetary inflation based on the dollars actually getting people to get wrecked in the market if they don't have any hedge. So basically what is important is the real monetary inflation, the true extent of US dollar, in this case devaluation, but most fiat currencies look like this, 363% since 2000. I'd say the euro is somewhere similar. So the US dollar has devalued basically 14.5% per year. That means if you're not in an asset that gives you at least 14.5% return, and then you can deduct certain things from it, right? So for example, if you also get, of course, you get salary increases, right? So if you got an average of 4.5% salary increase per year, which would be already good, right? Then you have still 10% to outperform in the market, right? Then you still need something that yields at least 10.1% to be 0.1% above actually getting value, right? Not only numbers piling up. So that is something to really consider. Very, very important to consider, to calculate your salary increases plus your returns and see if you're there. And there are only a couple of assets that give the returns where you actually improve in value, and that is where you outperform everyone else, and that is why you are within a couple of years are then able to purchase something that others can't purchase anymore, right? Because the rest just gets their money debased. And ask around. 90% of people think that paper money is a store of value, right? They think that. They think that it's valuable, okay? Now, in my opinion, there is S&P 500, there's NASDAQ, but the compound annual growth rate of Bitcoin is, let's say, unseen, right? And that brings me to our prophet of the century, the Schiller himself, but so far he's also right with his strategy. So let's see, with his strategy. So let's listen to this quickly.
You know, it was a $90 billion asset class in March of 2000 when I was first looking at it. And then by August, it was about $180 billion asset class. And right now, 4 years later, it's $1.8 trillion asset class. And I think it's going to 18 trillion, then 180 trillion, then it's going to go beyond that. So I think it's a very simple thing. I think Bitcoin is going to grow from 0.1% of the money in the world to 7% of the money in the world over the next 21 years. And of course, you should just go long and keep buying it.
0.1% to, you said 7%?
Yeah, it'll go from like 1.8 trillion to $240 trillion, and it'll go up 29% a year, ARR. That is my base case.
And I've heard you say that in 21 years, it's going to be at $13 million
That takes you to 13 million a coin.
13 million a coin.
13 million a coin.
At 29%.
Every Bitcoin you don't buy is going to cost you $13 million, my friend.
Every
Think hard.
Bitcoin. So let me ask this
Your
question.
Ford Bitcoin Ferrari is going to be a six.
Okay.
Yeah, so his 4 Bitcoin Ferrari is going to be insane, right? So he's now driving with the bicycle. But in all reality, it's not. So what's definitely not unrealistic is that what is gold now, like a 20-something trillion, right? It's definitely not unrealistic that Bitcoin over time gets to the 20-something trillion, and then gold obviously is also increasing still, so people are still buying gold. Right now it's a 1 trillion, so that would be a conservative 20x on what Bitcoin is right now. Yeah. His target is even more, 240, but we also can't forget that through the money printing, all of that. Wow, my camera is what happened to my camera? I think someone is calling me, so don't worry. I hope the camera comes back once. Okay, there we go. Yeah. Anyways, so there's that. So that also means, let's say his prediction of 240 trillion would be correct, right? Which would put us at a 200x from here. I mean, even a savings plan with only $100 a month would be insane, right? Over the next years or so. I mean, the earlier people start, the better it is for them. But also, if you have only minor pieces and shatters and shards of Bitcoin, that would be already crazy, given that his prediction would come true. I think the time horizon for this is more like 20 years. So some people, depending on how old you are, for them it could get close, right? To not being able to use it anymore for them, but then to retire the bloodline, as the memes say. So that is something to consider. But I think it's always good to remind ourselves what could be happening in this market. Let's quickly check out. So we have a small bounce here in the DXY, right? That we see here. I do think though that this is reacting now at this level. We should come down more here for the DXY. The Bitcoin dominance is still creeping sideways. It hasn't gone any higher here, so we will see if we get something good out of there. The moment that this only does a blip, altcoins will fly drastically. However, I think that Bitcoin will make a move before, first to the downside, then to the upside, and then only then altcoins are being affected. For OMI, it's interesting. We see, let's go into the daily quickly. What we see is a lot of sell pressure still. The moment that the price goes up, you see this here, like long wicks everywhere on the upside. The moment the price goes up a little bit, it's getting sold into. The volume is increasing here. We see that really over since February, basically, the volume is increasing, has peaked on this purchase here. So this is good, but it's not enough yet. On the weekly, we see also we have 3 consecutive green weeks, but very long wicks on the upside still. So the volume really nice, right, compared to everything else that we had. So this could be a bottom formation, no guarantees, but this could, at some point it will just happen. So let's see how this turns out, and obviously it depends on the macro factors, but just so we covered the Komi side here as well. Overall, I think if we look on a monthly, the month is still red. The volume unseen, at least on Gate.io, right? Unseen for Ecomi. So let's see. What is definitely missing is another green month, like here, right? We don't have that yet. Here we had a little bit of a volume. The volume is the overall volume trend is this, right? That's good. Let's see if we can get another high volume month here for Ecomi. That would be good. Altcoins are green, and the day is led by Crypto.com. No, Kronos. Kronos? Wasn't that Crypto.com before? CRO, the ticker? Anyways, then we have 4. Whatever that is. I've never seen that in my life before. So there's a lot of weird stuff here suddenly in the top 100. Also, Trump coin minus 3%, Bearer 14%. Let's see. Overall, today the market is like mixed, but on the week we have a lot of green stuff. Fart coins still being bought like crazy, as well as SPX. Beam 50% recovery. That is good. Layer 0 also has been on a good time. So overall, on the week in the market, we see some recovery. It looks nice, but it's only a recovery from where it collapsed to. Average 6, 7, 8, 9%. Some are 12%. Usually because of big movers like this. A nice 5x on the Bucks coin. And also Bananas 31 is up 117% in this bracket. So a lot of big movers in this particular bracket. But yeah, the question. So all of these coins, I think they will do very, very well once an altcoin season starts. I think this altcoin season will happen, and I think the focus will be really on these coins that are here in the top 100 right now, like Injective, Jasmy, Chainlink, Immutable X, also Near Protocol, VeChain, by the way, with a 7% here on the side. Here, Uniswap 11%, like the DeFi, like all of these, I think they will be doing really, really well. Yeah, so definitely. Okay, I prefer meditation about medication about meditation. Yeah, I don't know about that, man. I don't know about that. So I think that's good. So let's take a quick look, and so since the let's take a look at Vivi here quickly. So if we already see any effects on the affiliate program. So having refreshed here, 11 million tokens minted, no data. That's bad. That's not. Do we get any reason for? Okay, so somehow I don't get any data. Why don't I get data here from the muter scan? That's a bit weird. Let's see if I can find Vivi here. Okay, so that clearly doesn't work. Maybe I'm doing it wrong. But let's find Vivi quickly on Twitter, on X. Okay, refuse non-essential. There we go. So what's going on with Vivi? So we get some X-Men comics. X-Men fans get ready. Rogue 3D digital collectibles are landing on Vivi. Wow. Okay. I clearly did miss some things in the last days. So we are also getting some X-Men collectibles, as it seems. The eyes are a little bit weird, I have to say. But other than that, let's hope that the community is satisfied with that. I think we have discussed to much extent that this is still slow. The app is still very slow. Okay. I don't know why, but I think dolls are just creepy. I don't know how about you guys, but I think it's just creepy. Like these, I don't know. Did you get one of these? I think these were dropping right now. I did not, but there were only 3 rarities, it seems. Very relatively scarce. And then also Beauty and Beast. Set with 100 bonus MCP was also out. I have some golden moments of that, so I don't know if you guys got any of these. The diorama was also very detailed. I saw that, right? Yeah. So I don't know how. By the way, how's the Weverse performance-wise for you guys? Like, are you satisfied, or have you played? Hey, Divinder Singh. Yeah. Have you played around with it? To be honest, I didn't. I think my PC will not do it. I've seen it already, but I have not been able to play around with it due to what I already said. When I can't even do normal streaming at the moment, it's really crazy. But people seem to be building a lot of stuff, as we can see here. So some things that look really nice. Some are AR photos. Some are with dioramas. So this looks also good. I'm very curious what people, or what Vivi also is bringing to this event in Portugal in June. So looking forward to that as well. Okay, so not too much. Like for me, the main thing is, hey, let's get the app to a normal speed, and then we will be really, really good here. Mine is still pretty slow. Yeah, exactly. The app is still pretty slow. We've discussed it a lot, but yeah, I'm kind of over it, to be honest. Yeah, I don't want to be over it. I mean, it's a nice app. I always had fun playing with it and browsing the market, and I think the prices are probably super bargain right now. It's given that many people don't use it anymore. but Dan says, I feel like Vivi has shown most of their cards now, and there just aren't any big catalysts coming. Yeah, that might be so. That might be so. Yeah, that might be the case. Since I mean, on the other side of that is that wallet numbers are continuing to creep up slowly, very slowly. 215,000 followers on Twitter is a good potential for a run where money is suddenly hitting the pocket. So is it out of the cards that Vivi gets another bull run? No, but as you say, they have to do something outstanding into liquidity that is available. I think that they are still doing a good job. They're still in business, which is at least surprising to many people, given that not that many people are spending money on the app, right? I don't know how the overall situation looks for them, but I think what they really need is a whole new quality on both the app and web app and so on. But they also have this Marvel Comics side, and I think if they get adoption on the Marvel Comics side, they could be doing really, really well. Plus, given the let's say super bad performance of some of the Disney movies, Disney getting money streamed from Vivi, Disney should be really I mean, it's small compared to everything else, but it's still like, it's basically, the margin must be extremely high to get their stuff on Vivi. So Disney is very likely continuing with Vivi as we see it right now with the drops that we have seen, right? So people are buying that. Disney gets some nice margin revenue from that. So I think for both, like Marvel within Disney, but also Disney, it's still valuable and attractive. The question is, how can Vivi leverage these partners and this relationship? I think it's time for Vivi to use that as well, right? So they need to get once the Vivi app performs fluent again, they need to get themselves in front of the cameras on Disney Plus and stuff like that. Even if it's just a short commercial, they have to do it, right? Maybe they have to invest in some stuff like the Vegas Sphere or something like that, yeah. But I think Disney Plus is the better multiplier. But we will see. I mean, it's a very risky play, and it can very much end in a lot of worthless collectibles that you can play with. But the other side is also true. Faster than anyone can see and think, this can turn into a turnaround, so to say, right? So it's up to personal preference, right? For myself, like, my decision is I'm going to hold this stuff and just see what happens, and I'm going to continue to report on Vivi, and once the app is back, I'm also going to continue to use the app and go back to using the app more and using the MCP and so on. So that is my approach to this. Let me know yours. Smash up the like button, subscribe to the channel, notifications on, guys. That's it for today. Thank you for being here, discussing with me, and yeah, also let me know what you think is the next step for the overall crypto market. And wherever you are on the world, have yourselves a great morning, evening, day, night, or afternoon. We'll enjoy the rest of our coffees. Have a good one, and bye. I see you in the next video or live stream.